That Don't Sound Right is a podcast about talking the way we did before the internet, when you could not prove anyone right or wrong.
All the expertise was contained in the people involved with the conversation. I'm Peter.
I'm Cecil, and I hope you enjoy our conversations. And as you listen, if you find yourself silently saying, that don't sound right, send us a comment. You're one of us. Yes.
Now, you might want to, I think you said you wanted to put out a little warning.
Yeah, I think we probably need to have a trigger warning for this. There will be the trigger warning is there will be strong barbecue opinions that will be presented in this podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of That Don't Sound Right, a podcast about talking. We're your co-hosts. I'm Peter Beelman.
And I'm Cecil Davis. And it's, mainly what we're trying to do here is it's not hard. We're just trying not to kill the conversation by just fact checking each other into oblivion. We want to keep the conversation going, keep talking about a particular subject.
We had some friends go up to New York City, didn't we?
Yeah.
Did they have an example of this?
Yeah, and Amy said she just, they practice just walking around New York City and not Googling things, just trying to figure things out, talk through them.
Maybe read a sign or two.
Right. Read something on a museum.
So it's simple. We're just about talking in this podcast. Right. And this time, we're talking about barbecue.
Yes.
Now, you might want to, I think you said you wanted to put out a little warning.
Yeah, I think we probably need to have a trigger warning for this. The trigger warning is there will be strong barbecue opinions that will be presented in this podcast.
Well, I think it's going to be your opinion, I think, right?
Well, mine actually causes some strong reaction. Now, talking about barbecue in North Carolina on a North Carolina podcast almost seems a little on the nose. But nobody's talked about it the way we're going to talk about it tonight.
Well, I mean, it was in a newspaper article, so yeah. It has been talked about.
It has been talked about.
I didn't scroll to the bottom of the newspaper article to see if anyone had any editorials and comments going on.
This isn't going to be the top 10 best barbecue joints in North Carolina.
No, I ain't messing with that.
But what happened in the paper?
So there's this very historic barbecue spot called Clyde Cooper's in Raleigh.
Yes.
All right. And they had a customer come in, get a barbecue plate, and they came back in and wanted her money back or something different because she claimed that the barbecue was undercooked because it was pink.
Right.
It was pink. And they said, no. When you smoke meat,
right,
it turns it pink. And they were very upset. They wanted their money back. And they said, no, this is legit. This is okay. So the person called 911.
Seems reasonable.
It does not seem reasonable. You should be saying that don't sound right, Cecil.
That don't sound right. Did the police respond?
They came.
There's a lot of things that already don't sound right about this.
All right. So they came up and they dispatched the police officer to the place, and they explained that the pork's color was from the smoke, and the officer talked to the customer and then basically left.
So it does have a red color, but that is from the smoke ring.
That's right.
And you actually know more about smoke rings than I do.
Well, I really don't. I know it happens. I don't know why it happens. So it's again, here we go back to chemistry.
Yep.
Don't let me down. But, this is either a physical this is basic science, right?
Yeah.
It's either a physical reaction or a chemical reaction. The chemical reaction could be the hydrocarbons in the smoke interacting with the proteins in the meat.
Yes.
All right? And then some kind of chemical reaction causes a red tint. I don't know. The other thing that could be happening is that the smoke particles that are infusing themselves into the meat because the meat's breathing in and out as it heats up and changes temperature, mixes with the meat, and it leaves behind a pink color. I don't know.
Either one. Yeah.
Do you know why it's pink?
I don't know why it's pink. Either one of those would make sense. But I've heard people argue about this.
Yeah,
And a traditional barbecue argument will be about how important that smoke ring is.
Exactly. Right. Is it important?
Right. Does it impart taste? Does it not impart taste? How big should it be? Who's better at doing it?
All right, yeah. It's kind of you're judged on your smoke ring, but
Yeah.
this person should know that any good restaurant temps their meat.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
It's not pink because it's raw.
Right.
It's pink because that's the color of it.
You should also not call 911 because your meal's not correct.
Yeah, that's right. That don't sound right.
That don't sound right.
So at the end of the day, they wanted a refund or something else for dinner, and they said the restaurant said no. This is legitimate food. Now that's probably where the restaurant went wrong.
Right.
They probably should have just given her money back and moved on with it, but they didn't. She calls 911 and gives them a 1-star review. I don't know on Yelp or I'm sure that. So just if this makes you upset like it makes me upset, then I would encourage you to go to Raleigh and go to Clyde Cooper's Barbecue in Raleigh and go buy yourself a sandwich and leave a 5-star review.
That's right.
That's what you should do.
This is the third podcast where you've been a little upset about something.
Yeah, I'm still
California wines.
Still not buying California wines.
Well, this is really an instance of just somebody not knowing where they were.
Right.
And there's actually.
Oh, well, here's the thing. This person claims that they're born and raised in North Carolina and they've never had pink meat in their barbecue.
That's even worse.
And I don't know what are they looking at?
That's even worse. That's somebody who thinks they're an expert.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
One of the worst.
Yeah.
I've been guilty of that. Have you ever been guilty?
Oh, all the time. To the point I've made friends almost want to hit me.
Which is this what this barbecue episode is also going to take on?
I think this is so. But before we do that, that's odd that it was a North Carolina person.
Yeah, it is disappointing.
So I was in Wilbur's Barbecue one time.
I've been to Wilbur's. It's actually Wilbur's is one of my favorites.
Yes,
in
outside of Goldsboro,
North Carolina, on my way to the coast.
So you've seen it.
I've gone there many times.
Hole in the wall, dive.
Oh, yeah. They're one of the few places that can still cook over wood.
Why's that?
Because they're grandfathered in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're grandfathered in. Like new restaurants can't do that.
Why? That don't sound right to me. Are you serious?
Yeah, the new restaurants can't
cook
do it over
wood?
an open flame like they do. They're in a big open pit. I think you have to have a special oven that you put the food in. But
and the wood, because you can do it over wood, it just can't be in the open pit.
Right.
Okay. So you're familiar with Wilbur's?
Yeah.
So for anybody that's not, it's an old North Carolina barbecue restaurant.
It's an establishment. It's an institution.
Right. And so I was in there one time, and I was sitting at the bar. And it had a short little bar right when you first walked in. If you were just by yourself, you could sit there.
Right.
So I walked in, I ordered a chopped plate and sweet tea. Mm-hmm. And a guy comes in and sits down next to me, and he asked the waitress for a menu. And so she looks around, and finally she looks on their counter and finds a menu and kind of wipes it off on her apron and hands it to him. And then he says, "Do you have anything here like salads?" And at this point, I'm completely engaged in what he's saying because I'm like, you don't know where you're at.
Are you staring? You're not staring.
Oh, I'm staring at. Oh, yeah. And I'm to the point where I want to just say,
don't stare.
I really wanted to say, do you know where you are? But he ended up ordering like something off the menu that I think they had to make. Like it was like a.
Well, I tell you, when we would go there with my friends from work, we'd go to the coast, fishing, and we'd stop there. I would always get the barbecue, but most of the time they would order something off the menu. They'd get like a Carolina burger. With slaw. And,
That's what this guy did. He ordered something that was completely un-barbecue related.
Right.
Yeah, and I just want to go, why'd you even stop here? There's 100 other places
because
you can stop.
I've seen this Carolina burger.
Yeah. So
it didn't look as good as my barbecue.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Carolina burgers is burger slaw.
And chili.
So here's my thing that leads into this, because it's about the smoke ring.
Oh, all right, yeah.
Right. So there's two disclaimers to this.
Okay.
First of all, Any barbecue that's made by my relatives is absolutely the best barbecue in the world, undisputed, and I will never question that.
All right.
Okay.
Well, because you'd be disowned.
I don't.
You don't have any facts to back this up.
It really is the best barbecue.
You're doing this out of sheer loyalty and fear.
For the sake of that barbecue.
All right.
For all our listeners, any Davis-made barbecue is the best barbecue in the world.
Okay.
Unquestionably. So
all right.
This conversation does not involve that barbecue.
Okay.
The other is the original disclaimer that this could trigger people, this whole conversation.
All right.
Now, my brother thinks I'm doing this just to be argumentative.
So we're going to get some fan mail on this one.
Yeah, which would not be unheard of for me. He thinks I'm just taking the contrary position.
Well, you do that sometimes.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes I do it just for the pure sport of it.
But this is not sport.
This is not. I really think this.
This is a conviction.
Yeah. Okay. Now you got to listen carefully because people that don't start arguing before they understand what I'm saying.
Okay. So this is where we're going to stay curious.
Yes.
All right.
Stay curious.
I'm
Are you ready?
I'm going to sit back and sip on my 9-year Knob Creek.
So, like at Wilbur's, they cook their barbecue over wood, smoke it. Right? It has the ring, the smoke ring, right? My contention is...
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever seen the smoke ring. They chop it up so fine.
Right.
I don't know if there's a smoke ring or not.
That's fair.
I can only assume that.
But it's cooked over wood.
Yeah.
Okay. It's cooked over wood.
Yeah.
And you can... So here's my contention. For North Carolina Eastern barbecue... Okay, not Lexington style, not Tennessee, not any other kind, but anything east of Raleigh that is North Carolina barbecue, pork barbecue, that is vinegar based. I don't think what you cook it over matters to the taste. I think you can produce just as good barbecue in an oven with a regulated temperature as you can cooking it over wood. And this is where my brother we've had. Like, he won't talk to me about this anymore.
Okay, well.
And so I think it is not about... I feel like you're forming an opinion.
I'm crossing my arms.
Because you grill and smoke.
Yeah, I do it several different ways, but I do. I've read some things about the difference between Lexington and Eastern barbecue.
Right.
And there are differences.
Yeah, there's
just in that.
Yeah, there's differences.
Not just the sauce, but just in the cooking.
Yeah. So I'm talking about just Eastern North Carolina barbecue.
All right, I'm sitting back again.
Yeah.
I'm staying
I
curious.
think I can produce with an oven barbecue that will rival any barbecue you would get at Wilbur's or King's, Smithfield, Parker's, anywhere you want to go. Fulton's. I would put that barbecue against any of that barbecue because I think it depends more on how it is sauced, not what it's cooked over. Yes. Sauced.
You sauce your barbecue?
Yeah. I think it is how it is sauced, not how it is cooked.
Why are you saucing your barbecue?
Because you have to sauce your barbecue.
It's okay. Here's the thing.
Right. It's all sauced.
It's not all sauce. It's the rub.
All the Eastern barbecue is sauced.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this now.
Right.
So the Eastern barbecue typically is whole hog.
Yes.
It's not pork shoulders.
No, it can be, but not necessarily.
And then Lexington typically is the shoulders or the Boston butts.
Yes.
All right.
I think that's true.
So that's a big difference right there. Is you're getting a lot of different meats mixed in.
Absolutely.
To your whole hog.
Yeah.
You're not going to put a whole hog in your oven.
No. That's true. But I think the taste, I don't think you could tell the difference.
Is this because the sauce pretty much overrides any other flavors that you get out of the meat?
I think it's because the most important thing in cooking pork is temperature.
Okay.
Not what you're cooking it over. If you're going to put a vinegar-based sauce on it. Now, again, I'm talking about a very specific barbecue here. This is what you would get.
I mean, I can understand that because when you douse it with the vinegar sauce, that's all you're tasting.
Right.
That's all you're tasting.
And so at that point, the quality of the meat and how it's cooked is more important than what it's cooked over. But now there's some people who say that the smoke imparts a flavor to it that you can't get in any other way of cooking.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with them.
Yeah.
I'd have to agree that there is something about the smoke that it has a different flavor. But you can still, here's the thing, you can still mask that flavor because it's very faint.
Yes.
You can still mask that flavor with that vinegar sauce.
Right.
And I mean, I've had Wilbur's barbecue a zillion times.
Right.
You can't taste the smoke.
Right.
You can't taste the smoke.
Exactly.
But I would say that if you didn't douse it with their vinegar sauce,
You could probably tell. I could tell a difference then.
you could tell a difference.
Right. And so I'm saying my argument is that once you hit it with that barbecue wings, you hit it with vinegar sauce.
All right.
It's more about how that pork is cooked
Well, yeah.
than what it's cooked
You need to
over.
melt it.
Right. And so I think you can do a better job with an oven where you've got a constant temperature than you're going to necessarily do just over the grill. Now, the only thing that trips this up is bark.
Yeah.
And like you're saying is also the cuts. And so like you're not going to get the same, you're not going to get bark with something that's cut in the oven.
That's right.
And you're not going to get a whole hog.
No, you're not going to fit a whole hog in there. You're not going to get all the different.
But for what you can cook, you'll get a better quality.
Have you done a taste test?
I have. Now, I haven't done a blind taste test, which is what I want to do. I want to catch someone sometime where I have made barbecue like that and have them compare it to like barbecue from like B's Barbecue in Greenville.
Okay.
And then, and what I'd love to do is like have the same container so they wouldn't know at all. And just say, hey, this is B's. What do you think?
All right. And then what sauce do you use? You got a recipe for
I'm
sauce?
going to use just the straight vinegar and
red
pepper flakes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Cecil,
Right.
I got news for you.
What's that?
This week, or actually next week,
Yes.
or this following week, right before Thanksgiving, I am cooking 2 pork shoulders.
Are you?
Now, I was going to put them on my pellet grill for smoking them, slow cooking them over the pellet grill. I will, for you, I will cook one in the pellet grill. I'll cook the other one in the oven.
This is the test.
This is the test.
Are you going to just do it with vinegar and red pepper flakes, or are you going to not put anything
No,
on it?
here's the test. Here is the real test. I'm going to have you taste 4 different flavors. 4 different.
4 different.
4. Smoked without sauce. Oven baked without sauce. Smoked with sauce. Oven baked without sauce. That's going to be your test.
Okay, my contention is that the oven baked with sauce and the smoked with sauce will be indistinguishable.
Okay. I can understand that.
Yeah.
I could understand that. Because the smoke is always very subtle.
Yes.
Right?
I think so.
But I generally don't put sauce on my meat. I let
The meat speak for itself.
I let this meat speak for itself. I let the consumer sauce it as required. And I make a Lexington type sauce.
Right.
I don't do an Eastern sauce. I will make an Eastern sauce for you because this is what you're most familiar with.
Well, I can make the Eastern sauce here.
Okay.
And then we can just
all right.
test
Then I'll
the
give
meat.
you 4 portions.
4
you
portions
sauce
of
it
meat.
yourself.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is very good.
That's the test.
All right.
Yeah.
I think half our listeners have just tuned out.
Right.
So you better bring them in with some words.
Or they're lighting up the grills to prove me completely wrong.
So before we lose anyone, what are your words of wisdom?
Oh, so since we're talking about hogs, that even a blonde hog gets an acorn every now and then.
Wait. A hog?
Yeah, a blonde hog
A blind hog.
gets an acorn every now and then.
Now, I've heard that, but it's a squirrel.
A blonde squirrel gets a nut. Yeah, even a blind squirrel.
An acorn.
Oh, an acorn? Oh, really? That's specific.
Yeah, even a blind squirrel finds an acorn. Can find an acorn every once in a while.
So my understanding of that is that everybody gets lucky at least once.
Okay.
Right?
You ever heard of the phrase, I'd rather be lucky than good?
Yes. But like, so
that's my golf game.
When I'm being self-deprecating, usually if somebody says, "Oh, yeah, you did a good job," I'll say, "Oh, well, a blonde hog gets
there you go. All right.
Gets an acorn every now and then." I should just say thank you.
You should, or at least call yourself a squirrel and not a hog.
Not a hog. Hey, Peter, were you in church on Sunday?
I did. I heard a shout out. Did you?
Yeah, the pastor gave us the shout out for That Don't Sound Right.
We'll have to put him at the end of our credits as our technical, spiritual menu advisor.
Right. So, if you're a Car Talk fan, they used to have the technical, spiritual, and menu advisor.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So we can add him in.
He can do that for us now.
That's right. So, anyways, thanks for the shout out, Georgia. All right. Well, it's hard to believe, but you've come to the end of another That Don't Sound Right.
No, that don't sound right.
Don't. It went by fast.
It did.
I'll be interested. I think this will generate a lot of mail.
It depends on what you call the episode. I have noticed that what you call episodes really does make a difference in the hits it gets.
Yeah, it does. It depends on what the search term is.
Right.
So, That Don't Sound Right is a production of TDSR Podcast in conjunction with Campbell City Studios. I am your sound engineer and co-host, Cecil Davis. Your other co-host and web designer is Peter Billman. Your chief, said it again, your graphics designer is Emily Billman. Brand ambassador is Brent. And as always, listener number one is Scott. All right, until next Saturday night, keep talking.
Stay curious.